Happy Friday, people. It's Chris Angel coming at you. Shout out to Well-Dressed Walrus, Curt, and thanks for the swag. So listen, I was just watching. Actually, I'll give you the evolution of this post. So I saw a friend of mine, Corey Jeppesen from CJEP, today post on Facebook. Maybe it was actually yesterday, but I watched it today. He did it in vertical screen, and he said his prediction for the future of marketing in the next 2 years will be that everybody goes vertical on their phone, on the video, right? Instead of going horizontal, they'll go video. That was his prediction in the next 2 years. And then he said, you guys should watch out. You guys go look at Instagram TV and check out how people are already using vertical in a lot of stuff. In fact, a couple days ago, I was watching. I searched PGA because I wanted to see what was happening in the PGA Tour because I like golf. And as I was looking at, there were some videos that popped up in Google, and when I hit it, it was almost like an Instagram story. It was vertical, and it was of the golfers playing golf, and then it would do like this the clip, and then it would go to the next one, just like an Instagram story, and then it would go to the next one. So I've already seen that happening. So I went and then watched Instagram TV tonight, and after I checked out Instagram TV, there was Gary Vaynerchuk talking about all of these things that people should be doing in marketing. And like he was talking about text message marketing now, and you should be 80% in Instagram and 20% tasting these other platforms. And what was crazy about what it left me with was, and listen, I'm in marketing, right? To some degree, I'm in marketing. I have a marketing agency. And what I was left with was, I'm not going to go figure out all those platforms. Like, I'm not going to go figure out text message marketing. First of all, because I don't like it when I get text message marketing, right? When I didn't opt in for that. But moreover, he's like, well, go check out Instagram and then go check out Snapchat. He's still in Snapchat. And I'm like, listen, when I think about you over there, you, the people who would hire my marketing agency, like what I am left with is, one, you and I don't have the patience to go figure out all the platforms. Because listen, by the time we figure out those platforms, they've already evolved, right? Or the trend has already moved on by the time we figure it out. So here's the point, unless you're willing to go all in your business and your marketing with tons and tons of dollars to hire an expensive marketing agency that is up to speed on all those things and can keep up with all the trends, what does that leave for all of us? Does that mean the rest of us can't do marketing? Does that mean the rest of us are sort of destined to have nothing and to not reach anybody because we're not able to go in on all these other strategies and ideas? No, I don't think so. There is hope, people, for the rest of us in the world who not only can't keep up with it all, but have no patience for it all. Give me some likes or hearts or whatever if you can't stand all the different stuff that you feel people say we're supposed to do in marketing, right? You're like, I can't even keep up with all the things we're supposed to do in marketing. If you think that is you, give me some hearts, some likes, whatever, right? But listen, and I'm in marketing and I can't even stand it, right? So here's the hope for the rest of us. Do you remember in poker? Do you remember in poker? As if I play poker. I heard one time there was this short season of life where I got hooked on watching the World Series of Poker on on cable, and now I don't care. But it was interesting for like a month or two. And what was interesting in that was they talked about you can play the cards or you can play the player. Have you heard this? Like there's some strategies in poker, and you can either play the odds of the cards that are dealt, or you can play the other players and kind of look for who at the table is the sucker. What are their tells? And you're not really playing the cards dealt. You're playing the person, right? Okay. So in marketing, you can either play the tools, right? Like Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, algorithms, search engine optimization, text message marketing. Like it's dizzying, right? You can play is the video supposed to be vertical or horizontal? You can play the tools, or for the rest of us, you can play humanity. You can play the tools, or you can play humanity. Do you see where I'm going with this? Like, to play the tools is what I just ranted about. To play humanity is to be self-aware and to be humanly connected to what actually matters over there with humanity, with the other person in your city, in your tribe. And what I think matters to us as humans is, it's not even entertainment. Look, like, entertainment is fine absent of me having anything else to do with my life. I'm going to go look for things to be entertained by. But what I'm really longing for, what I'm really searching for, is connection. So you can play the tools or you can play humanity. And if you're going to play humanity, then you have to play your marketing with the intention of connection. It's not, listen, stop trying to check the box called content marketing I posted today. It's not about posting. In fact, if you're just posting to check a box or to please an algorithm, then you're wasting, not only are you wasting your time, but you're adding to the noise. You're making it worse. But if what you want is to be relevant in marketing, right, then you need to play to humanity. And the way you do that is through connection. Now, how do we as human beings who don't have a full-time job in marketing, in fact, our full-time job to make money is some other thing besides learning all these tools, how do we create connection? Here it is. You ready? The way we create connection is through vulnerability, transparency, authenticity. Like, when you, in your marketing, show up as a human being, regardless of what it is you sell, there's a connection that's made over here with me, the person watching, the person listening, the person interacting with it, right? And this is the hard part, because it feels very risky for us in business to come across as anything less than put together. Do you understand? Like, in some ways, we feel as business people like we have to portray confidence in order for people to buy from us. And so the idea of vulnerability, transparency, or authenticity begins to threaten this feeling of being put together, right? But here's the weird thing, and listen, this is beautiful. I so appreciate Brene Brown for doing all of this work over the years on vulnerability and the power of vulnerability, because it is in our vulnerability that our humanity shows up. And I believe, just as these people like Gary Vaynerchuk who are talking about the future of marketing being all these tools, I'm saying that if you want to play not to the tools but to humanity, that the future of marketing for the rest of us is in authenticity. The future of marketing for the rest of us is in connection and humanity. And you got to get, like, it's not about what you sell. You can't, too much marketing these days is like, people are late to the party and they're showing up on Facebook, but they're marketing like it's 1990, talking about their product and service. And we, the rest of us as humans, have moved on from that conversation. We're not interested in what you have to sell. We want to know who you are, right? So my background's real estate. Let's use real estate, right? People in real estate are famous for posting about their listings and their open houses. And it's so old school that there's no connection in it. I don't actually care if you're a real estate agent about what you listed. What I do care about is if you're a human I'm interested in connecting with. And to get that connection from your marketing, you have to talk about something other than real estate. Because that's the only way I know if you and I are a match, if we're from the same tribe. Now, if we're from the same tribe because you are vulnerable, transparent, and authentic in your marketing, now I might listen to you about something about real estate. But there is an additional layer now in the marketing game called, you need to connect with me as a human being before I am able to even hear or listen to what it is that you sell. Okay. So this is marketing for the rest of us. For the rest of us, the rest of us who don't have patience for learning all the tools and all the algorithms and all that crap, then are left with, and I can say it that way. I mean, look, do I think Gary Vaynerchuk has an advantage for earning tons of attention because he's up on all the tools? Yeah, sure, of course. But I'm not gonna, I know myself, I'm not gonna go all in and learn those tools. So I'm gonna play humanity. I'm not gonna play the tool. I'm gonna play humanity. Because I know humanity. I know how to play to humanity. So what there is to do is, thanks, Lance. What there is to do then is this is really important, guys. I'm getting to the important stuff now. What there is to do if what you want is to play humanity and not play the tools, because those are your two options. You can either go learn all the tools, which you most likely don't have time for or patience for, or you can play humanity. Those are your two options. And if you choose humanity, then and knowing that what the currency of humanity is connection, then what there is to do now is to go work on yourself. You are now entering into a new era of self-awareness. In other words, in order for you, the marketer, the business owner, to connect with me, the consumer, the person watching, I have to get that you're the real deal. And in order for me to get that you, the marketer, business owner, are the real deal, I have to know that you're safe. See, when you just come at me with marketing and selling and your product and your service and your story and all that stuff, I put a shield up, I put a wall up because it doesn't feel safe. I've been down this road before. I've seen other people's posts like this before, and I tune you out. So your self-awareness leads to your own life discoveries. It leads to your own shadow work, right? It leads to you seeing where you don't have it all figured out. And then when you see where you don't have it all figured out, this is your honor and your privilege, you then get to tell the rest of the world what you learned. Like, what did you learn? Because I, the viewer, the audience, the watcher, the follower, the tribe member, I want to learn from your mistakes. I want to learn how to do something you might have figured out. And if you didn't figure it out, like you didn't get the answer, at least you got what not to do, and you could share what not to do so I could benefit from that. But you coming out all polished and perfect and primed and pimped and all that stuff with your best face on doesn't make me feel safe, and I find no relevance in you. So I don't tune into you. The future of marketing, if you're going to go the route of humanity, is for you to be transparent, vulnerable, and authentic in your life lessons. And then me, the viewer, decides that you're somebody I want to tune into. That's how that works. And once I tune into you, now you have an opening for exploring or sharing or sharing wisdom about the things you actually do professionally, right? So listen, again, if you're playing humanity, then what there is to do is to begin in the realm of self-awareness. You have to begin in the shadow work. You have to go slay dragons. In fact, by the way, public service announcement, I started a thing a couple weeks ago called Business Church. Business Church is like Christian church, except it's not Christianity, it's not religion, but it is what I saw with what I think churches do well is they've created community, and on Sundays people show up and their souls get fed inside of their religious context, their framework, right? But when I looked out into the entrepreneurial world, our entrepreneurial souls weren't getting fed. Like entrepreneurship can be very soul sucking, in fact, right? It can be very draining. And I felt like what was needed or what I felt would be helpful to entrepreneurial souls was to have something like Business Church, not Christian church, but Business Church. So Sundays, I'm starting my second series this Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific called Slaying Dragons, and it's on Facebook. You go to facebook.com/Groundswell Agency, right? And it'll be, I think, a 4-part series, but it's called Slaying Dragons. Now, the reason I bring that up is because if you're going to go the route of humanity in marketing and not the route of learning all the tools in humanity, then what you have to do is do self-work. You've got to go slay your own dragons before you can be relevant to me, your potential audience. This is what we want to consume now. I know because every time I post my own shortcomings. Yesterday, I did a post on what I call integrity gaps. I called it integrity gaps, right? And I shared my own integrity gaps. And every time I throw myself under the bus, I get more interaction. I get more engagement. Why? Because I think we as humans are hungry for realness. We're hungry for somebody to just tell the truth. Stop puffing and pimping and primping. Just be real so that I can feel a real connection. And so, again, if you want to go the route of humanity in your marketing and not the route of mastering the tools, both options are fine. But most of us, the rest of us, have to go the route of humanity because we don't have the patience, the budget, or the time to go down the route of the tools. So you have to slay dragons in your life. You have to figure out what's not working, and then you have to be willing to share that with us because that's how we feel like you're safe. It's how we feel like you're real, and it's what actually endears us to you. So that, gang, is marketing for the rest of us. Congratulations. This is what you've won. You've won a first class, ticket into sharing vulnerably with us if you really want relevant marketing. If you don't want relevant marketing, then I guess you're banned to old school marketing that doesn't resonate with anyone. And that's going to be very frustrating for you. What's interesting about the vulnerability thing in marketing is that it's actually very, once your ego can get past the thing about it feeling bad, oh, I'm going to be so embarrassed if I share something personal. And you get that your shortcomings actually serve the rest of us, right? Then it actually gives you a place of power to come from. That's why Brene Brown's work is all about that, right? It's all about the power of vulnerability because you being vulnerable gives us permission to be vulnerable. And it's not ironic, the counterintuitive piece to that is that when you're vulnerable, you actually see that people receive you and are encouraged by you. They are encouraged by your shortcomings, right? They're actually moved by, inspired by your vulnerable sharing. And in your vulnerable sharing, seeing them receive you well, you actually feel stronger. Isn't that weird? Isn't that bizarre? Isn't that a paradox, right? That, gang, is humanity in marketing. You being real with the rest of us. Now, I just know this takes a lot of work because for most people, it's scary. They turn on a camera and they're like, not only do I not know what to say, but God forbid I would tell you anything transparent, vulnerable, or real about my life. Are you kidding me? So let me, I could just keep going and going, but let me just see if I can't give this a little bit of actionable things for you, right? Because I don't want to just, I feel like I've done a very thorough job of explaining like what the path is, right, for you to take. And here's how to actually get your feet wet with it. So sharing vulnerably is not like, you can't share from a place of being a victim, right? So as much as I'm saying like you've got to do some shadow work and you've got to share with us how you failed, it's not like I failed, I suck, I can't stand myself, and I'm going live on Facebook to tell you that. That doesn't inspire us. It doesn't make us feel safe. It makes us feel like you're trying to figure your stuff out. So I'm just going to give you space to do that. That's not what I'm describing. So here's how, ultimately, look, in marketing, ultimately what we're trying to do is help other people. Seth Godin, it's not his quote, but he quoted, I believe it was J. Conrad Levinson from Guerrilla Marketing, where it was something to the effect of marketing historically has been at and to people. We market at people and we market to people, but effective marketing, real marketing, is marketing with people and for people, marketing with them and for them. And so with that in mind, for you to connect with me through humanity in your marketing and sharing vulnerably, you have to share from a place that it's with me and for my benefit. So, for example, when I did in January, December, November, I can't remember now, I did a 6-part series on unhappiness. I basically was in a moment of self-discovering that I've been unhappy for decades. Like, in the moment of the feeling of it, I was sharing it, but I wasn't sharing it from a place of, guys, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And any prayers you could have for me would be great. It was, look, here's what I'm learning right now. This unhappiness thing sucks. I don't enjoy it, but here's what I've noticed. And that's the piece that makes the vulnerable share with and for you, the viewer. Yesterday, when I did my Facebook Live about integrity gaps and how 17 years in business up until a couple months ago, maybe even a year ago, okay, I'll give myself credit for a year ago, I've been doing business to some degree with integrity gaps. I just saw that. I'm like, oh my God, I've had these integrity gaps. And I haven't figured it out yet, but I went live and shared it with you anyway. Why? Because I felt like what I was seeing, my observations, the revelations of truth that I was noticing about integrity gaps would be helpful for you, would serve you in some way at looking at your own integrity gaps. That is how you share from a place of vulnerability that actually serves the people watching. And what's interesting is you get a ton of, respect's not quite the word, although you get that. It's endearment, it's trust. It's all that is what you get, which is better than 99% of other marketing out there. Other marketing out there has no shelf life. It makes no impact, right? It's like it's entertaining. People scroll on Facebook, they liked it for a second and don't remember it tomorrow. But when you share vulnerably and it impacts people in a way that matters in their life, then what you've done in essence is you've created, we can use business words or marketing words, you've created an asset, you've created capital, relational capital, brand awareness, but it wasn't from a place of traditional branding. It was from a place of you being vulnerable. But what you shared with me in your vulnerability left an impact, changed my life, made me think about something, and I'll never forget that. Listen, that is marketing for the rest of us. That is marketing for the rest of us. If you don't have the time, the patience, or the budget to go all in and learn on all the other tools, or hire somebody who knows all the tools, then what we're left with, the rest of us, is marketing to humanity. In order to market to humanity, you've got to come from a place of vulnerability, transparency, and authenticity. Thanks for spending time with me tonight. I'd love to hear your comments, your ahas in the comments. If you have some, I'll circle back and chat with you there. Thanks for watching, gang. Have a good night. See ya.